Oh, I'm gonna close the door.
Okay, okay. Do you want to like turn the fan off?
Sure.
Or the one outside? Okay. All right. Connect streaming software. Oh, that's a lot better right there, right? Okay. Yeah, we're live. We are live. Here we go. Sid, are you ready?
So ready?
Okay, okay, stream setup over here.
We're trying to figure out YouTube right now.
Yeah, stream setup help. I might be, oh, it doesn't have the thing there to say that we're going live. So.
Why is it only me?
I'm right here. Like, you see me, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So me. Like, scoot it a little bit.
Scoot a little bit. I can bring this closer, too. But I hope I don't want to drop it. Wait. Okay. Should I leave it there? Okay. Hey, Sid.
Hey, Dad.
What's going on?
Nothing.
Okay. What are we talking
about you?
I'm good. Just freshly home from therapy and ready to answer all the questions in the world. We never got to the Reddit things last time.
Yeah, that's very like us.
Do you want to start with one of those?
No, because I need to find it.
Okay.
But we could get into that in
a couple minutes.
A second, yeah.
Okay, because I also have I have a very hot take on in the world of ADHD, which we both have, that we could talk about, and I have some deep thoughts about other things.
All
so,
right.
And if anybody saw the video that Sydney put up, I didn't fart.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
It's a squeaky chair.
That video is so funny.
It is kind of funny because I honestly think, and maybe we can get into conspiracy theories, because I kind of wonder if you put the sound into the video.
No.
Because it's just perfectly timed.
That would have to be so, like, pre-manipulated or whatever. That's not the right word.
Not the dreaded pre-manipulation, which is far better than the post-manipulation, which I think we can both agree on that, right?
Sure.
Okay, and let me get the questions. So ask your questions tonight. We are going to make sure that we pay attention and answer them. And your amazing mom, Wendy, is manning the questions. Mackie is moderating, hopefully, right now. So mind your P's and Q's. Do you know what that means?
No.
Okay.
That's a Lil Uzi song.
Is it really? Mm-hmm. It means mind your pints and quarts, and it goes back to the days of, I think, maybe England, and when people would get in fights or something, and your pints and quarts were your drinks.
What?
Yeah, never mind.
Didn't they just, like, get drunk all the time back then because, like, they didn't have water or something?
Yeah, they drank, they drank ale or whatever. Okay, but anyway.
I found the Reddit post.
Let's do it. Let's jump right in. Let's start with the Reddit post tonight. And you start reading, and then I'm going to still see if I can get YouTube going, because we actually said that we were doing this tonight. So you go.
Oh, our YouTube isn't working?
No. Connect streaming software to go live. We are. Okay, here we go. You go. Oh, no. We've done this before.
That's so annoying.
Oh,
so should we just not do YouTube tonight?
TikTok, it's all you.
All right, so
tonight.
Normally we have about 2 viewers on our YouTube,
right, so both
sorry
of them,
you guys.
Sorry to both of you. All
right, so we're going to start with this
I'm excited. Here we go.
Reddit story.
Okay, Reddit story. What's it about?
This is on r/narcissistic parents. I just found this thread.
Okay,
it's
narcissistic
really
parents, and so we're obviously going to get into narcissistic family systems and all kinds of things that I enjoy talking about. Here we go.
So, here we go. Please help, I have nowhere left to turn. Hi, I'm 15 and I posted on this subreddit 2 days ago with the title, I need help with my mother. I'll try to link it below. Yesterday I was downstairs trying to get paracetamol for period cramps, and me and my mother were still not talking. I was trying to do the gray rocking thing. I was looking for a hot water bottle and she grabbed me and pulled me away from the drawer. This led to an argument and she ran upstairs to take my phone. I obviously didn't want her to have my phone, as I had posted about her on Reddit, and if she went through my phone and saw that, I would be finished.
Okay.
I ran up after her, and I met her at the top of the stairs, and she had my phone behind her back. I was trying to take it from her, and I ended up on the stairs, trying to take it. My stepdad ran up the stairs and pushed me. I was then lying on the stairs. He then held me down, and he's very aggressive and scary.
The stepdad held her down? Mm-hmm. Oh, man.
And to be honest... and scary to be honest.
She's 15?
And she's 15, yes.
Okay.
So I was terrified, and the first reaction I had was to defend myself. So I started swinging. Good for you. Good. Hit him. I had a ring on, and I genuinely didn't mean to, but I gave him a cut on his face. But I still see this as self-defense, open to opinions. Totally.
Yeah, that is 100% self-defense.
Yeah.
So the thing that kills me, right, and I know you've got plenty to go here too, but a stepdad forcibly restraining a 15-year-old who, what was she trying to do? Get medication for her period cramps?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's the problem with, anger, and that's a form of control. And so it's like, we'll probably talk about this. What do you do to get rid of your discomfort? So stepdad, mom, they don't like feeling like they have no control. So how do they get that control? Not with patience, not with curiosity.
How can you just
with anger and physical violence?
I don't understand. Like, how do you find joy in your day-to-day life when you do things like this? And how do you go to sleep at night? Literally, I don't understand.
Yeah.
He then held me down. Yeah, we read that part. I had a ring on, open to opinions if there was self-defense.
It was.
He then grabbed me, pulled me to the top of the stairs, wrapped his hands around my neck, and began to scream in my face. He threw my phone down the stairs and said he's going to smash it with a hammer. This lasted for around 20-ish seconds, and I was spluttering, not able to breathe. He now has a scar on his face, and I have bruises on my neck. He said next time he will give me 2 black eyes. So what is he even mad at her? Is this all just for the wife, just to be on the wife's side? Because I don't understand what this girl is even doing.
It could be, but this is the part again where incredibly emotionally immature are narcissistic people. That immaturity is not knowing what to do when they feel uncomfortable, when they feel disrespected, when they feel, so then they lash out to get the control back in the relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And so
but when did they even lose the control?
Because she had a different opinion, because she didn't do what they said. And so when you start backing up the game film there, they're not even asking her, how are you feeling? What do you need? How can I help? What can I do? They're probably telling her, this is that thing where a real immature narcissistic person, if she's complaining, crying, making them feel like you're interrupting my existence, then it's you need to calm down. Not saying, hey, what's going on? How are you feeling? It's you need to calm down. You need to knock it off. You need to do what I say. And there's just no curiosity from a narcissist.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, let's see. He threw my phone to the stairs, so I didn't smash it. Okay, this lasted around 20-ish seconds, and okay, he has 2 black eyes. This was my last straw. They kept coming up to my room for 30 minutes after it and returning to shout abuse. I texted my boyfriend from another device and told him what happened. He told me to meet him somewhere, but I did not see this message. My parents could see these messages off my phone, and my stepdad started screaming about how we will kill him if he ever sees him. He will do X and Y to him. Okay, to the girl's boyfriend.
Yeah. Again, control. And there's in narcissistic family systems, there's the sequestering or isolation or cutting off them from talking to anybody, because that could make them look bad.
Yeah, because if they talk to someone else, they will know that they are in the wrong.
Absolutely.
It's so obvious. And so it's in that situation, so they know what they're doing is wrong, but they just don't care.
Okay, so this is, I think so, but then there is a debate, and when you're talking about real narcissistic behavior, is that they've been getting rid of discomfort since the day they were born, since childhood, because that gaslighting is a childhood defense mechanism. So the way that the brain works is that it's immediately, I didn't do it, if you would have calmed down, I wouldn't have had to do that. If you would have just done what I said, I wouldn't have had to break your phone. You made me do it. There's no accountability.
All they know to do, because they've been doing it since childhood.
Yeah.
And when you break it down like that, it's okay, well then it is really just a self-defense mechanism, right? They're putting a cover up because they don't think that you could ever love who they actually are.
Yeah. Ooh, you're
then
good.
It's wow, that's sad, but
it is. But what's really sad, and I love that you put it that way, is that typically the kind person, we talk about the pathologically kind person, finds themselves in that relationship with a narcissistic person. And so then when they all of a sudden see that person get really angry, then the kind person, what do? It makes them uncomfortable. So what do they do to get rid of their discomfort? Then they appease the narcissist. So then the narcissist feels more comfortable, but now the narcissist says, okay, well, we're good. But then the kind person just took all of that emotion and energy and internalized it. And so now they aren't good. They don't feel good about that. Yeah.
And they're like, okay, yeah, we're fine.
Yeah, we're
I
fine.
guess.
We're good. Okay.
It's that if you're good, I'm good. But
Yeah.
like then you don't even know. You lose sight of what being good is for yourself, because you're just trying to appease this person constantly.
Constantly. And so that's where the whole concept is you don't have a sense of self. You basically are just trying to figure out what's the best way to diffuse this situation or make that person calm down so that the rest of the family will be okay.
Oh, and then that's when you get into like, right, you talk about like over long term, that's when like CPTSD and stuff can set in, because your brain is so used to being like fight or flight all the time. Is that what you said?
Yeah, because you're always on edge, like trying to read the room and trying to see, okay, and that stuff starts in childhood. I mean, it really does. And so, there's it can get exacerbated as an adult in unhealthy relationships. But if you were already the person that was the people pleaser, or you were the person that was like I'll pull up the narcissistic family systems roles, but you were the quiet child, I don't want to cause a fuss, or you're the like, okay, we'll do it, we'll take care of things, we'll calm the parents down, then everybody, what happens is everybody's enabling the narcissistic parent or parents, because then everybody kind of does whatever they have to do to get the family back in line, And then
it's like you get thrown out into the real world and you're like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
Oh, and then I see how that could make you more prone to like getting into narcissistic relationship. Because that's all you know.
That's all you know. So if you see somebody that's being really nice, then it's like, well, that feels good. And all of a sudden, then if that person gets really upset, and that's that emotional inconsistency. Now you're like, oh, I know what I need to do here. I need to not say anything, or I need to like tell them it's okay. I'll do it. I won't. You're good. And so then you fall into that familiarity.
Yeah, because it's like you only know what you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wild, right?
Wild, bro.
Okay. Is old man Tony the one that says wild, man? That's crazy.
Okay. Continue.
Okay.
My stepdad said he was going to ring the police and have me done for assault. I was not able to do this anymore, so I walked out of my house. You're not welcome here anyway. I'm assuming that's what her mother said.
Okay.
Oh, and then she said my mother also saw the Reddit post about her and laughed about it, saying only actual narcs will label other people as that.
Mom.
Girl.
Mom's in denial. It can't. Well, and now we're getting into the good old world of confabulation. That's not true. That can't be the case.
And just like imagine, in what world do you read a post where your daughter is hurting? Because apparently there's a post before this. I couldn't find it.
Okay.
I'll look for it after this, but there's a few more after this. But in what world do you like your own like flesh and blood is like in pain, like, and doesn't even feel comfortable enough to talk to you? They have to talk to complete strangers, and you look at that and you laugh like you're so crazy.
Well, yeah, and that goes back into that like so narcissist, borderline, histrionic, the different personality disorders. They lack the whole object relations thing and object constancy, whole object relations. They can't see their kid hurting and be frustrated with their kid, and it's all or nothing. It's black or white. So then they can't say that, okay, this person is in a lot of pain, but I'm also frustrated with them. They're like, nope, the kid's wrong. And so then at that point, then they have to like cut them off, which is really sad.
It doesn't even seem like this, like mom really sees her daughter as a kid. It's just like a punching bag.
Yeah.
Ugh, I don't like this. Okay. You're not welcome here anyway. And then she laughs at the post. I got on the bus at 6:30 and went to a nearby town, 30 minutes away, where my boyfriend lives. I was planning on either staying out all night and going to school the next day and talking to my principal about this, or going to the police myself. I bumped into my boyfriend as he was looking for me, and he told me my mother rang the police due to what happened with my stepdad and the fact that I had left home. He told me my mother had rang his mother and told her she saw inappropriate messages exchanged between me and him on my phone. She had also told her everything that happened, in her own words, to make me sound horrible.
Yeah.
So her confabulated, lying version of, okay.
Well, and I gotta tell you, there's Susan put in the chat. She said, my 25-year-old son is a narcissist. He attacked me last November. I called the cops, but he was very calm and they believed him.
Wow.
I know, and I think and Susan, I'm so sorry to hear that, because that is the problem, is that false self. They can put on whatever mask they need to, and then kind of put that good version of themselves up front. And now sometimes I think about this too, and I'm not trying to say that this is the fault of anyone else, but if you're not familiar with narcissism, then if you show up and then you're trying to make sense of a situation and you've got this super calm person and then you've got somebody that seems like really frazzled, unfortunately, who are sometimes cops going to believe, you know, they're going to see that calm person say, no, you know what, she's kind of acting out a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I deal with this all the time. It's okay. I appreciate you guys coming, but we're okay.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of times they're more prone to maybe believe the kid.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, because he's like acting really calm and they're seeing the person. And I'll tell you what, the craziest part here that really, oh, and she says the switch to calm was scary, and it is. Okay, I mean, man, I could tell stories that I've seen.
Brave. Yeah. Have we ever talked about that, like having a narcissistic child?
Not really. No, I can talk about it.
Hey, watch it.
No, I mean, I don't even know what it would be like. That'd be really weird.
Oh no, you guys. Should I take a quiz?
I know. We should do that one time. There's a thing called the Narcissistic Personality Index, the NPI. And
I'm so curious. I want to take that.
I think tonight we will be taking the Narcissistic Personality Index.
We
should, right?
What if we're both just raging narcissists?
So here's the problem.
And we'll be ending live. The internet's going out.
Okay, I have thoughts on that. Okay, we'll get to that. We will get that. We will do that one. But I think what's scary is that I remember very well. Oh, look at it on my head. Thank you for a person who gave me that. Okay, so what I think was really fascinating is one of the first times I was working with a woman who was in a relationship with a narcissistic person. They were getting a divorce. This was before I'd ever testified in a court case or anything. But she came back and told me that the craziest part was her then soon-to-be ex lied in court. And I remember we both were saying, I didn't think you could do that, you know? And I mean, you're not supposed to. But I think it's like what Susan was talking about is you just see that person just... you know, and it makes you lose your mind because this person just told a lie in court.
Yeah.
You
and
know?
How can someone do that? Like, how can you switch? Like, no, like, completely mentally stable person would be able to do that, right?
You would
have
hope
to have
not.
something going on up there.
Yeah. I have to tell you, though, what was crazy is just a few days ago, I was looking through my phone for something, and then I saw some files of a case I was involved in a long time ago, and it was the courtroom transcript of a case I was involved in, and that person, I believe, was very narcissistic, and it was fascinating to watch, though, because a good attorney can just, like, lay a path of question, and then the narcissist says, oh, I'm good at answering questions to make me look good. But then as soon as they kind of say, wait, I thought you said this, then you watch them then, you know, change direction. Yeah, and that one's pretty, and then they get pretty frustrated.
Didn't you have a funny story?
Yeah, when I was being cross-examined by a narcissistic.
Yeah, tell that.
Okay, so I was in this court case, and it was interesting because it was I was working with a guy, and then his now ex-wife was emotionally immature, narcissistic. So she'd already fired 3 different attorneys, and that's one of the things that is a hallmark of a narcissist, because so often...
You don't know what you're doing.
Right, exactly. And so it's like the person who... This is what I love. It's the same thing that I see in therapy, where the narcissist will come into the office, and then I'm laying out, okay, here's my couples modality. I've only worked with maybe 15 or 1,600 couples, 20 years. Right? So here's how I know to help couples do better. And then they're saying... Yeah, let me tell you what she does, and then you'll get rid of your 4 pillars, and then you'll finally realize, oh my gosh.
Let me tell you something you've never heard before.
Exactly.
Therapist.
Exactly. And I'm like,
literally
okay,
heard everything.
Right? So that one's funny to me. But then in this case, so she'd already fired 3 attorneys, and the problem is you have to take half of your day off to then go to the court, and then all of a sudden, then you hear that, okay, it's not happening today. And I've got a busy schedule, so I'm having to cancel client appointments.
Oh, every time she would fire an attorney, it would cancel the whole thing?
Yeah, because she would do it kind of last minute. She would get to court, get upset, fire the attorney.
Is that like a strategy people use to like buy time, do you think?
I think it was more of that she was the whole time that she would say, well, this is what I want to talk about. This is what I think my defense should be. And then the attorney's like, nope, can't do it. And then she's like, okay. But then she gets to the courtroom and then says, no, this is seriously what we're doing today. And he's like, I can't do it. And so she says, well, you're fired. So then the third time, then I was not going to show up because I couldn't keep putting clients off and that sort of thing. And so then what I really liked was I show up there, and then the judge then said, you will need to represent yourself. So she was representing herself. And it was really funny because she's asking me questions, and she really wanted to play the role of attorney. And that was what it was. So she's like, is it true that you've never met me before? Right? I'm like, yes, that is correct. And have you diagnosed me as a narcissist? I'm like, I haven't met you, so I have not, you know. And then she's like, objection, Your Honor. And then he just says, what grounds, you know? And then she just said, oh, I don't know, I just see them do that on TV. And so then he just kind of looked at me, and there was a little chuckle, and then I was excused, and I got to go back home.
Wow.
Yeah, that was fun.
Like, honestly, I get, like, me in a courtroom right now, that's me. Like, I would just be screaming objection. Like,
under what grounds, Sid?
Exactly. Like, obviously that they're wrong. That's why I'm saying it. Okay. But that's just so funny. I love that story.
Adrian Alexander, longtime fan. Keep being excellent. Adrian, thank you. I appreciate that for real. And then Sleepy Flower's back. Sleepy Flower's been here before. Struggled with OCD my entire life, and at 21 years old, I'm finally starting my first job tomorrow. Any words of advice? Yes.
Ooh.
First of all, well done. Congratulations. And we've been talking more about this concept of being differentiated, which is growth occurs through discomfort. And so the fact that you've made it to this point where you got the job and it's tomorrow, well done. Like that's a big part of the journey right there. Because and this was something I was talking about, or I was writing some notes earlier. And this is that thing where acceptance that I'm going to have anxiety is healthy. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And also, like, so maybe you relate to this, maybe you don't, but what I kind of have been thinking recently, and like a lot of times this isn't true, I'm lying to myself, which is like what I do a lot, and it's really helpful. But
I don't know, I need to unpack that whole thing.
But I'll just be like, am I anxious or am I excited? You know? And it's like, maybe I am anxious, but also maybe I can gaslight myself into believing that I'm excited. And that's actually what I did today.
With what? This?
Yeah. I didn't have a panic attack.
Okay. So that worked. And you were here. I like that you walked in here and you were like 20 minutes early, and then you went and you're like, oh wait. And then I had to like say, Sid, we got 1 minute.
No, yeah. I was that 20 minutes. I was like, oh no, here we go. Time to spiral. Really? But I was fine. Yeah. I was fine.
Okay.
But yeah, you're gonna do amazing.
You are. And so here's the thing too. Think about OCD. There's like an obsession, and that gives us you anxiety. And then you do the compulsion to alleviate the anxiety, and now you feel better for a minute, but then here comes that obsession again, and it's like another wave hits. So I think it's really awesome that you're going to go to this job, because if you can accept the fact that I will have some anxiety, then I'm not going to avoid all the situations that might cause me anxiety, because then I'm giving anxiety way too much power. And when you go to work, you're going to be doing. And sometimes some of the best things you can do is I can start doing things. Oh yeah, and then there's my anxiety. So it doesn't mean it's not going to be there, but the more that you're present and you're doing whatever you're doing, I mean, the better that you are going to just be. Do you mean
her OCD when you're saying anxiety?
Yeah.
Like, so would you consider that anxiety? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So because the OCD will cause like the OCD is a way to eliminate the anxiety.
Oh, it's like you're trying to get control over the anxiety.
Yeah. And so then it's an acceptance that we grow through that discomfort.
So what do you think, like, oh gosh, we're literally in the middle of a story, sorry. But what do you think, like, creates someone's specific OCD thoughts, like, to themselves? Because I feel like they're all unique. Sorry, I have zero grammar, like, capability of speaking today. It's just not happening.
Okay, wait, say
you guys just have to guess, like, off of context clues. what like, because everyone's OCD thoughts, if you have OCD, they're like individual to yourself. Yep. What creates them?
So there's one of the theories is that OCD attacks what's important to you. So
that is so messed up. Okay. That's so rude.
Okay, but if you really step back in time, though, and think that, okay, anxiety was there for a reason initially. It was there to protect us. So I need to have heightened anxiety.
Because all those people died.
Well, eventually. But if you were, and I go to the same examples, but it's like if I'm anxious as I approach, a bridge, because obviously there's trolls under it, right?
Sure.
Yeah, everybody knows that. Then I'm going to be like anxious about it. So I'm like looking around for the trolls under the bridge. And then it's like, okay, so my anxiety protected me there. Because I might have to run right across. I might be ready to answer a riddle or whatever you have to do with trolls. Or I go the other way. So my anxiety protected me. But the problem is now we have so much stuff that I can have anxiety about. The YouTube live that didn't go, or what if nobody watches this, or what if the lighting is bad.
I had a dream about JoJo Siwa last night, and I woke up so anxious because of it.
Okay, what was the story your brain was telling you?
I don't even remember. It was like a life or death situation with JoJo Siwa, but that's a good example, because I woke up and I had nothing to like be anxious about.
Yeah.
So my brain was just like, what can we think to like really mess up her day?
Yeah, okay, for real, because then it's like, and so then the anxiety, that's where I think one of the best things we can do is thank our anxiety. It means well. It's trying to teach you a lesson. Sleepy Flower, you've always given amazing, kind responses to my questions. Thank you. Sleepy Flower, we want to hear how your job goes.
Yes, we can't wait to hear
because again,
about it.
Acceptance doesn't mean that you're giving in. Acceptance that I will have some big feelings at the job.
Also, I feel like a job is a really good place to be like easily distracted.
For sure, that's exactly it.
That will be a vibe. It's like even if you like whether you want to or not, you're kind of forced to distract yourself.
Yeah.
Which can be nice. I think recently like distracting myself has been the only thing that's been helping with my anxiety. Like
okay.
And I still it's only like when I like do it on accident that it works.
What do you mean?
I don't know. It's because I don't know. It's hard. Like because you can tell yourself like, oh, I'm gonna distract myself, but then you're still thinking about it the whole time.
Yeah. I do. And I actually tonight I've got there's a big book of acceptance and commitment therapy metaphors, and I've got one about like an exercise you can do to start changing the relationship of your thoughts.
What is it?
So they like where are we? We got the halfway through the story, and I've got OCD. Where does it attack? And then we got this, and we got to talk about Jojo Siwa, and I got some other stuff.
If you didn't have ADHD before this, we're giving it to you.
And I got this.
Or you just left.
I got this applesauce. I had no idea it had cinnamon in it.
And are you gonna eat it with a spoon?
I eat my yogurt with that spoon right here.
He's got a go-go squeeze in his... This is so warm. If you eat this, I'll cry.
Okay, I won't eat that then.
That is
I don't want you to cry.
crazy.
But so OCD. Let's go over there and we'll move on. So OCD is a common anxiety disorder because it causes these unreasonable thoughts, irrational thoughts, and it attacks what is important. And I can give you interesting examples. So if you got the person who, one of the first people I ever worked with that had Allie's here, Allison.
Allie.
Okay, we really want her to come on live and talk about being a midwife at some point, right? So then, like if you have OCD around germs, then most likely it's like there's a fear of getting sick, or that that I will catch a cold or something. So then you're gonna wash your hands. You're gonna get rid of the germs. You know what I mean?
Howie Mandel has that.
Yeah. Somebody earlier said,
You're both
"Hey, Howie
bald."
Mandel." Yeah. So I was like, "Oh, is Howie Mandel?" And I'm like, "Oh, they were saying me." But I'll tell you one that I thought was interesting was somebody once that I knew, and they had OCD around Q-tips for your ears.
Oh,
and
what do you mean?
They just felt like they wanted to do it a lot.
Isn't that actually bad for you?
Well, yeah, it is, and they were aware of that. I mean, they were trying to not do it, but then when we really dug in deep, it was the fact that when they were little, that they had like bad earaches. And then their parents, it wasn't like their parents were, locking them in a dungeon or anything, but their parents were just saying, "Oh, it's okay. Like you'll be all right," But then their ears were really hurting really bad. So then when
Those hurt.
Yeah, when they finally I think went to the doctor or something, they put the drops in, and then they were infected. So then it burned really bad. So from that day forward, it's like OCD around the cleanliness of my ears because I don't want to get another ear infection. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or we talked last time about scrupulosity, which is religious OCD. And that's one where if religion was important to somebody at some point, then the OCD will attack that, and then they're going to become.
Oh, I never thought, because I had that one.
Yeah.
Do I still have it?
No.
Okay. Can it go? I mean, I feel like it went. I'm fine.
I mean, OCD. One of the things I think is interesting is when you work with somebody with OCD, and I'm working on a project right now with somebody, my friend Abner, about scrupulosity, and we've got so many notes, and we're going to try to do some work around that.
Like learning about that kind of like changed my life, honestly, because I felt like crap before I knew what it was.
Yeah, and so what's interesting, like with OCD, is that you also often think. I was reading midway through Allie's comments. Okay, and Sleepy Flower is going to tell us how the job goes. But so you often, what was I saying? It was going to be so profound, Sid.
You could never ever expect me to know what.
I was about to say you knew. No, I'm bringing this one back because it was really okay. I'm waiting to see what if Wendy types it in. She was listening, maybe. Okay, we were talking about OCD, often acceptance, something, Jojo Siwa, cinnamon.
Stop bringing her up. I'm going to get distracted.
I don't really know who Jojo Siwa is, but I watched a Saturday Night Live skit where they were kind of parodying her. Yeah.
Everyone is, if you don't know about her, you're forced to.
Okay.
That's a whole discussion. I was actually oh gosh, we're so ADHD.
Wait, no, I'm going back. Religious OCD, scrupulosity. Oh yeah. I got it. Okay. What if it left right now? Okay.
That's what happens to me. I hate
so
that.
when you start working with somebody with OCD, though, let's say that it's at 100. You're doing some scaling, and they will think, okay, I want it to go to a 0. But in reality, somebody with OCD, it's probably going to go to like a 40 or a 30. But when it's at 100 or 90 or 80, it's so intense that by the time it gets to like a 30 or 40, it's kind of just a dull annoyance in the background that can come up sometimes and you're aware of it. And I'm only saying that because that goes back to the, you know, I don't want to ever have it, then it's going to be there. It's kind of controlling you at that point. But if it's like I'm accepting that I have it and now I'm going to learn what to do with it, then I'm changing my relationship with it. And it isn't, you know, so much of controlling me is the thing.
Okay, yeah, like kind of like anxiety.
Yes.
Like I know that I'm always going to feel that.
Yeah, yeah.
But I'm trying to just make it more of like a little annoying kind of flick away kind of thing.
Yeah.
Or I guess you're not supposed to flick it away. You're supposed to hold
I mean,
its
I guess you
hand.
could give it a little flick. Like, yeah, get out of here. And well, no, you're kind of
I feel like it just like, I don't know. Yeah, I've just been trying to like completely like strip away everything that I've like connected to anxiety before, because I used to just think it was so like real, and I thought it was, I didn't think it was anxiety. I thought it was just like the voice in my head that was telling me, giving me good advice, you know, like
yeah.
I thought it was just like my hindsight. Is that a word? I don't know.
Sure. I mean, your conscious, your hindsight, your Jiminy Cricket voice,
Yeah,
those sort of things.
But lately I've just been like, no, shut up. Like, you do not have any authority over what I'm doing.
Yeah. Mish 503 says, does medicine help with OCD? There are medications that do, because what they'll do is I think it's typically some of the forms of like anti-anxiety medications or antidepressants that kind of, I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, but I know that there are medications that help calm your central nervous system, so that you have, everything's about building in a little bit of a pause. I mean, so if you think about what do we do with our discomfort, and we want to eliminate our discomfort, but when you can learn to sit with that discomfort, it turns out it's maybe not as controlling or not as scary, which is why we end up talking about meditation a lot, because you have to learn to build that pause in, because we just react to things because that's what we do. I mean, we're reactionary creatures by nature. And so it really takes, you have to be intentional to learn to build the pause in, to not react, to not, and that's where even when we were reading the story that her parents are just balls of reaction, just responding to things immediately. And that's the problem is like, go back to the narcissist, they're going to react to get rid of that discomfort quick and say, you know, hey, you guys need to knock it off because you're bothering me. That's a me issue, but I just told you need to make me feel better. And then if the narcissist yells and the kids are all freaked out, you know, then at that point, then the narcissist might feel bad, and they're like, well, actually, I was going to say they'll say sorry. That's not true. But they'll just say, you know, no, get over here. You guys are okay, because that they now need to feel better about themselves. So, I mean, those reactions, they need to build the pause in to be able to take a look at the situation and say, oh, kids are being kids, and I can say, hey, what have you guys been up to today?
Yeah, and I feel like it goes along with that. Tony has his favorite feelings wheel.
I was about to bust out.
You know, the one with like the secondary and like firstary emotions?
Primary and secondary emotions.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
I feel like that if you don't like give yourself that moment to pause, like you'll react in a way that you don't even mean to, and you don't want to, and it's not how you actually feel. And like like with this mom, like she immediately is reacting with anger.
Totally.
When I'm sure that's not what she's actually mad about. She's probably actually mad about something her husband did, honestly, you know?
Well,
but
yeah.
I don't know. You need like that second to be like, why do I actually feel this way? And then a lot of times you realize that you don't really feel as intensely as you thought.
Right? But that takes work, because, you know, narcissists, incredibly emotionally immature people, and you were saying, man, what would that feel like? They're going through life just always on the defensive. And so then it's interesting, because they take offense to everything. If you don't agree with them, then you must think they're wrong. If you have a different opinion, then you obviously think theirs is wrong. If you don't jump up and down when they say that they did something, then you must think that you're better than them.
Yeah, they would bully you for your feelings wheel, for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, tell me where to put my feelings wheel. And that's why I think the immature or narcissists, they tend to just feel insulted and criticized when nobody is. So if you don't do the right thing that they need you to do, then you must not care about them, and you're just doing and being. I mean, when we start looking at it that way, you know, then they may attack somebody just for the littlest thing. And what is really sad is they will make assumptions often that, well, you obviously didn't care about me because you didn't say something when you came home, you know, or something like that, and you didn't even know, and now you're in the doghouse. Is that a phrase that you know, in the doghouse?
Would they make the husband sleep in the doghouse?
Literally, they did. Back in my day.
That's funny.
I'm kidding.
Put him in the crate. Just kidding.
Yeah, they didn't really. Okay, there was a great question here, too. That, I like what Kimberly said when you were talking about your anxiety. She said, I get that. I worry my anxiety and OCD is my intuition sometimes, LOL. And I get that, though, because, Okay, I got big thoughts on this one. I'm gonna try to stay very focused, but I want you to but me and tell me, because this is some new stuff. I think we talked a little bit about it last time. So this is where I go back to. I think I did talk about this. Edit this out. I'm kidding. So if even the best of parent was telling their kid constantly growing up, hey, not right now, calm down, don't hit your brother, we don't say that, don't do that.
Don't poop on the floor.
How many times did I say that to you?
Literally so many times.
Every day.
You guys don't understand what I
And
went
what did
through.
you still do?
Okay, no.
You're not going to keep going with that bit.
Not taking it that far.
All right, fair enough. But in that scenario, though, then what the kid is doing is they're just being a kid. They're being themselves, and they're reacting to the world because it's the first time they've ever been a kid in that situation. But apparently, they're doing it wrong because they're continually being told, "Oh man, you said that. Don't say that. Don't do that. Come here." All that stuff. So then eventually, and this is where I think this is key. So our feelings apparently are wrong because they're just our feelings, but we're told to do it differently. So then we internalize those feelings. And so then when they come up, then, I don't want those to come up because that means that I'm doing something wrong or it must be bad. And nobody wants to hear about my feelings. That's what breaks my heart. I mean, when you guys were kids, that is that part of me that even if I'm trying to be the good dad, I'm like, hey, don't worry about it. Like, it's not a big deal. I just told you, hey, those feelings you're having, they're not real. Like, don't worry about it. I'm telling you they're not real. But I'm saying it with a smile and a nice voice, We're having a catch.
I'm telling you what you literally feel to your core is true.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry, but everything you know and believe is wrong.
Yeah, and your little experience right now that you're feeling, trust me, it's okay. And you're like, I don't think so.
Yeah.
That's wild when you think about it.
It's crazy. It's to think of what that can do subconsciously.
Yeah.
Of course it does stuff to you, and of course it drags on to when you're an adult.
Hug?
No.
Okay. Okay. But I mean, with that though, because what she was talking about was saying though that, so then where I was going with that. So now when we get older, and unfortunately even in healthy relationships, we're afraid to express our emotions because what if that person says, oh wow, you think that? No, that's weird. But so we have to be able to, it's okay to express your emotions. But then I sometimes think that all of a sudden if your emotions and feelings are let out of the barn, so to speak, they're just like, oh, we're going to run wild, And so, but I do feel like that's one of the first steps of being able to trust your gut or lean into your intuition. So depending on where she was at with her journey. Oh, Kimberly, where your anxiety and OCD is my intuition. Actually, okay, yeah, anxiety and OCD are those worry or fear. But then I want you to eventually get to that point where you can sit with your feelings and then you can say, okay, what are they telling me? Because welcome back, feelings. I'm not going to shove you down anymore that I did in childhood. Susan said, I spend my life qualifying everything I say, and my son takes it wrong. I wish I could help him. Oh, do you know what she means by that?
Qualifying everything I say.
It's like instead of just saying it, because this is how I feel, oh man, I got to say it the right way. I'm worried that he might take it the wrong way. And that is part of what can lead to a lot of anxiety.
It is anxiety.
Yeah.
That is anxiety. Having to think before you say. You should be comfortable enough to just be able to be yourself freely. So I feel so bad for her. Can we talk about that? What do you do if you have a narcissistic kid? Because you always talk about how it's the parent's job to be in the kid's life and all this stuff. But what if your kid is just an absolute brat? Okay, maybe not a brat, but what if they're a narcissist? Not saying.
Well, I think it's a great question, and I've got a handout here that I'm going to pull up, and it's talking about. I'm really, really loving the more I read about differentiation, being differentiated, and there's this Dr. David Schnarch, and I like this definition. So he defines differentiation as people's ability to balance humankind's two most fundamental drives: our desire for attachment and connection. So we do want to connect with our kids and with other people, but on the other hand, also our desire to be an individual and direct the course of our own lives. So when you really look at that, it makes sense why relationships need to be worked on, that we want them to just be easy, which I get, but sometimes easy in a relationship means that I'm not speaking up for myself and I'm just kind of acquiescing and playing small. So where I'm going with this is that there's 4 points of balance. So tell me what you think about this. So let's say that you're the parent and then your kid, you held Allie's baby and you said coochie coo. Do you remember that?
No.
Yeah. Oh, I've got it on video.
I told you, I only like talking to babies when I don't want to talk to people and there's no dogs around.
Okay, but I like that you just said no. Do you really not remember that?
I did not say coochie coo.
You literally did. if we weren't using my phone for the thing, will you put it on TikTok when I find it?
Sure.
You will?
No. I want a baby like 5 minutes of every year. And I know when I had it, I would not want it anymore, so I can't do that.
Okay. Your sister Alex is about to have a baby. You'll be getting those 5 minutes. You're excited.
No.
You're pumped.
Yay.
She might be watching. You're pumped somehow. Right?
I swear, it better be a nice baby or I'm going to punt it.
Hey, now. Okay, so these 4 points of balance. So tell me what you think about this. So, timeshare babies. That's not a bad idea. Well, it's a horrible idea. A horrible idea. Do you know what that means? Like you could buy into like a timeshare and you get a baby every now and again. Like take it around.
Absolutely not.
Okay. 4 points of balance. Developing a solid. So this is the parent. I am being serious with this. So when you're saying, what do you do? So right now, I would imagine that Susan's, and bless her heart, she's used to trying to say the right thing so that he won't get upset. You know, so it's like that already is a lot of anxiety because now, and this is where I really feel like a little bit of the woo-woo energy stuff is pretty real. Because if I'm like approaching it with like a little bit of trepidation and
elaborate on woo-woo.
What to get you to react?
From woo-woo to trepidation, like I'm really confused.
Okay, do you like those words though? Trepidation?
What are you saying?
No, now I'm gaslighting you. Yeah, I'm like, oh, those those words. See what I'm doing there? No, I like the woo-woo energy stuff. I used to not give it a lot of
What
attention.
is the woo-woo energy? I feel like I'm going insane.
I think everyone knows what it is, Sydney. So here's what it is. It's like the vibe, the energy, the what you bring into a conversation. So if somebody's like saying, hey, is it okay if... I feel like that is going to... If you're talking to an immature or narcissistic person, they're going to seize that. They're going to sense, weakness.
They can smell your fear.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. And I really think that's something I don't think I didn't think much about before back in the day. So that's what I view as that. And I really like it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, I could see that. So I could see how like a extremely manipulative person would be able to read up like on who they could more easily manipulate because like obviously someone who walks in a room like head up, confident.
Absolutely.
Like they're probably not. I mean, and who knows?
Well,
like literally who knows? But
I do.
Okay.
No,
okay.
I'm kidding.
No, it's fair. I mean, you know better than I do.
No, but that's so. I like this. So now take that concept and listen to these 4 points of balance of being differentiated. So the first one is developing a solid and flexible sense of self, which means knowing who you are without needing others to tell you. First of all, right there, because if I need others to tell me, hey, is this okay? Like, I'm doing this all right? Then that is not a solid sense of self. And I like when he says solid and flexible sense of self, because it means that, I'm open for comments, because I want to be the best version of me. Like, I'm not just rigid and this is my only way I'm ever going to think and feel and act the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. But it's like, but I'm feeling solid about, this is what I said. This is who I am. Not in an arrogant way, but at some point I have to realize, this is my journey, and this is the way I feel, In
a healthy
ego.
Kind of way.
Yeah. And so he says, so developing a solid and flexible sense of self, which means knowing who you are without needing others to tell you, being able to confront yourself to become a better person. So if somebody does say, hey, I think you handled that wrong, first of all, I can say, oh, okay, I didn't mean to. So tell me what your experience was, because I want to be better. And so that's where when you start getting in safe, trusting relationships with people, I want the data. Mm-hmm. But then he says, being authentically yourself in the face of pressure from others to be something you're not. That line, I know. What does that bring up for you?
I don't know.
Okay, but somebody's like saying, well, you're this, or you always do this, or you know what I think you should do. And if it's like, no, I mean, but if I was like, oh, really? Do you think I should? Then I'm doing it to make that person feel better or to get validation.
It's like you're living your life through their eyes.
Yep.
And it's like it is good to like get advice from other people.
Sure.
I mean, that's the whole point of life, right? Is like learning from other people's experiences, but like at the end of the day only you know like what will make you the most happy.
Yeah.
And when you like I don't know. I just feel like when you're like always I don't know.
No, you're nailing it.
And I like mean that 50-50 though, because I'm like
so?
only you know what you need, but then also like go to therapy.
Yeah.
And also like I needed like I'm so glad to have like you as a father, and like because I didn't know crap about any of this stuff. You know what I mean?
No,
so it's like people do need to like learn stuff and like face their whatevers, but
well, that's why I like the concept of a flexible sense of self, and it's interesting. I have some really nerdy stuff that we'll probably talk about the next one we do, but there's this concept called the Johari window. And it's about things that you don't know that you don't know. It's this window where you've got this quadrant of things that you put out there for people to see. This is what I like. This is who I am. You got a quadrant of what people see that you don't really recognize.
Like, I hate, that's creepy to me. Like, what do I not, like, know that I'm, like, putting off that you guys are like, oh, girl, stop it. Like, that's literally so scary.
But I don't think it's as bad as you think, because you're aware. What I think this one is, one of my favorite phrases is when somebody, and a lot of times the emotionally mature person says this, well, you know me. And I'm like, well, I think the thing you're about. Yeah, the thing you're about to say is what you think that I see you as. And that's that concept of false self. Like, somebody's projecting, hey, this is who I am, right? Mm-hmm. And if you're like, sure.
Like, if you have to say that so much, you're obviously compensating.
Yeah, and in fact, sometimes I'll have certain clients where they'll be like, and you can guess what I said. And if they're saying that, I'm like, oh, I have no idea. I'm going to get this one wrong. Oh, you probably said, I don't know, you tell me, That's what I thought. That's that thing. But then he says, learning how to self-validate rather than rely on external validation to feel good. And here's, like, this one, tell me if this is as big of a deal to you as it is to me. So are you familiar with, like, the love languages?
Yeah.
Okay, so
like, there's physical like that thing, like physical touch and, like,
so here's
giving
the thing.
Gifts.
So they're not evidence-based. So whenever I had this Dr. Jennifer Finlayson-Fife on my podcast once, and I love that we both just kind of said, okay, there's a over-reliance on that concept of love languages, and here's the context of that. Learning how to self-validate rather than rely on external validation to feel good, and external validation includes things like, these are the love languages: words of affirmation, physical touch, having things done for you, requiring things to change before you're willing to change, or only giving of yourself once somebody else is given first. So those are ways to get that external validation. Like, I need you to tell me I'm awesome. Mm-hmm. And I was guilty of that. Like, when I first learned the love language, I'm like, oh, words of affirmation, physical touch. Yeah, but then you're saying to somebody, hey, I need you to manage my emotions and make me feel better. Uh-huh. And then this other part where requiring things to change before you are willing to change. And then I'll be cool.
Requiring for things to change.
Yeah, versus I need to learn how to self-validate and not need you to tell me I'm awesome. I need, that sounds arrogant. What's going to come next? I need to know I'm awesome, but I need to know I'm okay.
Yeah.
So then hopefully the person then is curious and says, hey, I don't know, how can I show you love? Mm-hmm. And then because then you're not doing it from a needy place. And then at that point it means a lot more, because that person's choosing you, you're choosing them. Yeah. Versus hey, I need you to make me feel better. And then, well, I guess I need to make you feel better. So that's not real attachment.
And there's that thing of like I don't really even understand love languages, because it's like I could have my, like, way of love or whatever. Mm-hmm. But then if that's not your way, then I'm just asking you to, like, pretend that that's your way for a second to make me feel better.
So
is that what, like, love? Okay. I'm so uninterested in love right now. I'm like, this literally seems like such a waste of time.
It's a great question. I know it's not. Because, and I think it'll come up in, there's three other parts of this 4 points of balance of differentiation. So we got that one, solid, flexible sense of self, and not trying to be somebody for somebody else, and then not trying to look to other people that tell me I'm okay. But that's how we show up in relationships. I mean, it's normal. If anybody's hearing this and they're going, oh my gosh, that's what I do. It's like, yeah, we all do it until we don't. Mm-hmm. And then the second part of balance is quiet mind, calm heart, which is the ability to self-regulate and self-soothe your anxiety without expecting somebody else to do that for you. Mm-hmm. So kind of along those same lines of, if I'm continually asking somebody, do you think it's good? Do you think I'm okay? Do you think it's all right? And if you've ever been on the other end of that, sometimes you can say, hey, I think you are good. But they're like, are you sure? I'm like, totally. Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't know. You don't seem very convinced. I'm like, do you need me to, like, how can I show you that I really, think that?
Yeah, this is making a lot of sense for me. I feel like this is why it took me so long to get over one of my first boyfriends, like, so long. And
how come?
I didn't know before. I was like, literally, why? He was not that great. But now that I think about it, it's like, it's because whenever I was anxious, I would put it on him. Yes. And whenever I was uncomfortable, I'd put it on him. And whenever I felt ugly, I would want him to make me feel better. Yep. And so then when he broke up with me, it was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Like, I'm alone. Like, I have nothing. So I don't know how to do anything. And it's like, I don't even know what I don't know to do. Yes. Because it's like, you're just living at that point when you're a kid, Yeah. So I feel like, it just took me so long, but now I'm, like, totally fine and, like...
Yeah. I love that. And I like how...
light at the end, whatever.
A minute ago, you're like, I don't even know about this stuff. It's kind of dumb. And then you're like, oh my gosh, light bulb. And what I like about that is the more that you're on the path of seeking information and knowledge, and you can have these nice little aha moments, you know. But if somebody's like, I think this is dumb, and I'm just gonna, I don't know, watch cartoons, I don't know, that I'm because that's where, when people are afraid to go to therapy, or it maybe sounds judgmental, if they don't want to go, a lot of times I think it is this subconscious belief of like, I don't want to have to like
do something,
self-confront or that sort of thing, you know, that kind of. Okay, then the third thing I think is one of the most difficult ones that I feel like I've really tried to work on, and it's grounded responding, which means managing your reactivity. Not overreacting and getting defensive or blaming or emotionally distancing yourself. And I think a lot of times this is where people just continually, and this is where I've been fixated on emotional consistency. So if somebody is like, they just lose it, like the girl's parents, or if they just withdraw, and then you're like, okay, which version do I get tonight? Is it the person that's kind of sad, or is it the person that's like, you need to do this? You know, because then it just, you start to feel like, okay, I can't even be myself because I'm not sure if that's welcome here. Yeah. How about your responding? I don't feel like you get,
responding.
Yeah.
With what?
Like reacting. Do you ever get really upset or angry?
Yeah, and I get really defensive. And it's like, I know what, the worst part is, like, I know while it's coming out of my mouth that I'm in the wrong, but for some reason I'm just like, no, I have to say this right now.
Can you think of an example?
Not recently. Okay. I haven't, like, had anything recently, but...
Okay, but I like
you?
That.
From me?
Oh, from you? No, I'm chill with you, right? Am I?
For now.
So it kind of goes back to what we were talking about. Is it Susan that we were saying, what does she do if she has like this emotionally mature narcissistic kid? So this is why I was going through this stuff, because it's like managing that reactivity, knowing that I'm okay and that I don't have to prove myself and I don't have to be this person for, I mean, this sounds a little bit negative, but for my kid, I need to be myself so that I'm an anchor for my kid, you know, because I need to operate from this solid sense of self, and then I have more to offer for my kid versus I'm not even sure which version of myself I need to offer because I don't want them to be upset.
Did she say how old he was?
I think 25.
Okay, then I feel like it is also the thing where it's like, all right, he's a grown man.
Yeah.
He can, if he's not going to treat you well, then like he can live life by himself. Like, I feel like it feels weird saying that when it's like your child. That probably feels like, that's probably actually such like a mind F for her.
It is.
Like,
I like where you're going with it.
Like, that's probably really hard to come to terms with, but like, oh my gosh, like, you like do whatever you need to do, you know? It's like, if you need to cut that person off because it's your kid, that has nothing to do with it. Like, so, if they're not treating you well, like, cut them off. He's 25. It'd be different maybe if he was like 16, obviously, don't kick him out, but like...
Yeah, no, Sid, I mean, I brought my therapist sighing voice in here, like, yeah, because like you're speaking so much truth there, because there is nothing like sitting with a parent, maybe like would if I was working with Susan and she's talking about this, and you know, and they keep saying, well, what do I need to do? You know, and if I'm talking about this being differentiated and what's best for you, and you can learn to grow through this discomfort and show this emotional consistency. And they're like, yeah, but he gets really angry. And so then I fall right back into managing his emotions. And what's unfortunate is then you as the parent are kind of losing your own sense of self. And then the really emotionally immature person or narcissist, it goes back to that thing where we say they only know they exist when they interact with another person. But then that interaction is to then they feel they need to find a way to put themselves in the one-up position. And then put that person down. So then that person that's trying to help them is just like this muse for the narcissist. So the narcissist feels better about themselves. And so it's really fascinating. So cutting that supply off, it will make the narcissistic person push more buttons to try to get that kind person back into their role or into alignment. But then eventually, I mean, you're actually not helping them either because they are just continuing to feed off of that interaction.
Yeah. You're like... telling them like it's okay for you to be their punching bag, kind of.
Yeah.
And while like I totally get it, you know, because you're their mom and stuff, but that's not really like, it's not really doing the best for them either, because then it's just, again, like this instilling in their brain that it's okay to feel like that.
And that's a good point. Okay, the fourth part of this balance of differentiation, and then we'll go back to the questions, is meaningful endurance, which involves increasing your tolerance of pain for growth. And that right there, I realize when you're trying to work with somebody and you're talking about this concept of becoming differentiated, there's a chance that you're trying to offer this person that that relationships are going to eventually have some difficulties. But when you can look at that as, now again, if I'm trying to get rid of discomfort, then I'm gonna find ways to look outside of the relationship, and then it's gonna just continue to make that pattern worse. But if I accept the fact that I'm gonna, tolerance of pain for growth, then I'm gonna say, okay, this is uncomfortable, but instead of running away from the discomfort, instead of trying to get angry and control the situation, or instead of playing small to make that person feel better, then I'm going to realize, okay, when I can manage my reactivity, I don't have to be somebody else. I can start showing up the best version of me. Then you change the dynamic in the relationship. So, but do you feel like it would be hard to say, okay, every time I feel uncomfortable, it's an opportunity for growth?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it would be hard.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
gotta do it.
And
you always feel better after. And I feel I mean, this is on a minor scale because it doesn't have to do with like a relationship, but I really just hate being in silence, like ever. Like I really hate it. It's like so uncomfortable at the beginning, but like recently I've just, whenever I like really want to distract myself and I really don't want to be in the silence, like that's when I just like, I'm like, okay, 5 minutes.
Okay.
5 minutes. And then I swear to you, like every time after like 30 seconds in, it's like not bad anymore. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, how much of my life have I been distracting myself when I like kind of didn't need to, and like it actually wasn't as bad as I thought. Okay. And sometimes it's not good, sometimes I get anxiety, whatever, but like there are a lot of times recently where I'm like, oh wow, wait, I don't need to have like
I like what you're
blind blasting in my ears all the time.
Not all the time.
And I won't, I'll be fine.
Yeah. This David Schnarch, this is one of my favorite lines. He said, marriage, so we can say, let's say relationships, takes your lowest, weakest, and darkest parts and stuffs them up your nose until you can't stand yourself as you are. That's a good thing because it often takes, right? But then he says that's a good thing because it often takes crisis and pain for us to do something about it. The weaker your 4 points of balance are, the things we just went over, the more pain and crisis it takes to mobilize you. And that's where I say, like, my job is about people finally saying, okay, I need to do something. So that's like, oh, welcome aboard. Now the fun begins. Yeah.
I've never thought of it like that because I'm not really into like the idea of marriage, but now that I think about it, it totally is like, it's totally a way to force yourself to grow or destroy, because you're like being forced to be with this other person and like see all these things that you don't like about yourself, basically, like reflected through them.
It's the reflective sense of self. Like you relationships are people growing machines. I mean, they're
wow, even friendships too, like anything,
any relationship.
It's like, and I feel like too with like friendships, it's like because you attract, or at least you attract people who are like you, and so it's then you like find the person that's like you, and then you almost see all the things that you do that you don't like, and you're like, oh wait,
totally, and then and just even friendship. And I'm just gonna jump here real quick, and for Wendy, we have the questions covered up, but we're gonna get to them next. But I like Cardboard Box says, but sometimes being nice isn't the solution. And I like that you brought that up because I'll use my little wooden spoon. No, but I mean, I think that's what it insinuates, is that if I'm trying to play small or just not really speak my mind, then I'm trying to, just be really nice, and I'm going to manage that person's emotions. I don't want them to be upset with me. And so this is where I do the pendulum of like, here's like nice, and it's like I'm not speaking up for myself. And I think the problem is our brain kind of defaults to all or nothing or black or white thinking. So we think instead of nice, then I have to be mean. But it's like, instead of like, just being overly nice, then it's like I call it calm, confident energy, where I can express myself from a place of confidence, but I'm not getting really angry. And I still do it. I feel like if I'm about to say something that isn't trying to just make everybody feel better, then I'm being mean or rude. And then you start looking at the buttons people push to get other people to get back into their familiar patterns in a family. And so sometimes if somebody just says, geez, okay, if somebody says, hey, would you guys mind if we like turn the channel? Somebody's like, oh, okay, Mr. Remote Control person, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh gosh, did I say that bad? And then, but that's that person reacting because they're like, wait, you don't do that. You just go along with everything that I say. So now you have an opinion? Okay, let me get your crown, king, that kind of thing. Yeah. And then the person's like, oh gosh, I'm sorry, and they're apologizing for being them. That's tough.
Yeah, it's like that one quote you said that one time where it's like, you never, like nothing is like wrong until like the person
Yeah, say that one.
I don't know it.
Oh, I was about to
You had to read it like 3 times, and I still didn't understand it until like the next week.
So
but it was interesting.
I became a little bit obsessed a bit with right and wrong, and it's more of a bit of a hindsight principle. Because if I'm just like saying something, and then somebody says, "Oh, I don't like what you just said," then we say, "Oh, did I say it wrong?" But then if they say, "I like what you said," then it's like, "Oh, okay, I said it right." No,
I feel like we need to like preface with this. This isn't with morals. It's just with like things. It's
like I mean, because that's right. Because if I just express myself, or I say something, or if I went a certain way home from work, and somebody's like, "Why'd you do that?" And I was like, "I don't know, because that was the way I went." But tell me what comes up for you about that? And they're like, "Oh, I thought you were going to go this other way and look for this thing," or and then I'm like, "Oh, you know what? My bad. I totally was." But I started from a place of like, "Oh, I didn't do it to hurt you," and I think that's what a lot of times people think. Why did you do this thing? Because I didn't like it. So what you did was wrong. Versus hey, you did what you did. Now I thought you were going to do something else. So tell me about why you did that. I mean, that's like a kind of a healthier way to look at it. Let me read a couple more lines just from this, and we'll get back to the questions, because there's a couple that I really like here. Okay, so your willingness to tolerate pain for growth determines whether things change or not. Let's see, and I think this is interesting too. When we expect our partner to shield and protect us from anxiety and insecurity, we're placing undue demand on the marital system. And that's just one where it's like we are designed to deal with emotion in concert with each other, but it's not that you need to make me feel better. It's, hey, I don't feel good, and the other person saying, hey, tell me about that. Like, how can I help? Not what you're doing, it makes me feel bad. You know?
And it's like if you depend on your partner for all of these things, like emotionally, you're like missing out on a 50% of who you could be. Like, you're like, you know what I mean? It's like you're just taking away so much of your own life and like power. Not even power, just like ability to be yourself. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Susan, if we get back to here, she said, I need to step away, but I don't want to lose my son. It's a cycle, and it is. And again, bless your heart, it really is. And then she says, you can't divorce him. He's your child. You want to help. He's a narcissist. I'm lost with him. He used to trap me in circular arguments.
Wow.
And so, and that is, and here's, I will say this, Susan, I don't know, your exact situation, but what is really fascinating from my chair as a therapist, or maybe just as a human, is if we continue to, I mean, it's that thing, if we continue to do what we're doing, though, then we do kind of have a good idea of this is what's going to continue to happen. And we're almost just waiting for some external thing to occur that will change the dynamic. And this is where, if I don't know if you're going to therapy right now, but if you do and you're starting to learn these tools, it's not hey, what do I need to do immediately and I'll fix it. But over time, you'll start to show up a little bit different as yourself. It will slowly change the dynamic in the relationship, and that can be a good thing. Amanda, I would answer that real quick.
The silence one?
Yeah, I'd like that. She just said is silence. I think it said silence is sometimes like...
Silence is hard for her too. Is it something with ADHD?
Yeah, what do you think about that?
I don't know, because that's all I know.
Do you like silence?
No, I hate silence.
Same.
Yeah, no. Yeah. And also, like, my brain has never been silent. Like, is this an ADHD thing? Like, I will constantly, 100% of the time, have, like, an obnoxious song blaring in my head. And if it's not a full song, it will be like a 6-second TikTok sound playing over and over and over again.
I call it earworm.
I love that episode of SpongeBob.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like, it's so annoying. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I feel personally I do. I feel like this is where I really want to get your mom to interview her sometimes, because I don't think that maybe she can type in the questions. I think that she doesn't have 900 things going through her mind all the time. Maybe she does, though. Because I feel like mine are just going like crazy, and a lot of them are jokes and that sort of thing. And see if she's going to... Oh, silence is so difficult. I wonder if it's us ADHD peeps. It is. I'll tell you what's interesting as a therapist. They tell you, I mean, it's one of these like day one of grad school. They're teaching you how to listen without responding. And then they're also saying that silence is where some real growth can occur. But I can't. I mean, if somebody's like not saying anything, I'm sitting there like, okay, I could say something right now. That's really difficult. Hey, is your daughter going to become a therapist?
No.
Why not?
I don't know. I feel like I would start like trauma dumping on you. Like if you were my client, like I would also probably just start talking about myself. I don't know. Maybe I could, but like, I just don't know. I also can't sit still. Does that happen to you? Like,
that's why I play with a fidget cube and I pick my cuticles and all that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah. That was the longest amount of silence I think we've had. Okay. Daughter is yes, emotional consistency is such a powerful thing. It is, and and what I love about it is it's a you thing in a positive way. meaning that it's something I can always work on, is my reaction, my showing up, my taking ownership of things that I've said I would do. And when you finally, I think, have this switch flip internally of that, okay, this is a me thing. Why do I need that person to be quiet? Why do I need that person to, do I really need that person to help, or do I want them to tell me I'm awesome? Do you have anything to say? I had a funny thing that happened in therapy today. Somebody tell me a story about, like, they were working on being emotionally consistent and not needing validation. And then he said, and I did it so good that I needed to tell somebody, like, how good I am at getting it, not needing validation. And he's like, and then I realized, yeah, right.
That's funny. Yeah.
I know, I liked it a lot. I really did. Okay, duplicitous axiom. How do you feel about psychedelic meditation and mental expansion? Good for self-reflection? Yeah.
Yes.
Psychedelic assisted therapy is the future. You know, the psilocybin mushrooms are in their, like, 3rd round of FDA clinical trials for
I
things.
microdose. Amazing. Totally recommend.
You're like little tiny doses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
super like helped me with like how I view life and like everything.
How so?
It changed like everything. Like I don't even like I see like nothing the same after I like started doing that. In like the dippiest way. So like if you're into it, you are or you're not. But I love.
So a couple of things I think are really interesting about this is because I've been following it as a therapist and the synapses, like your little synapses of the brain. So like your brain is trying to like use the less electrical activity as it can. So we habitualize everything. We habitualize our movements, tying our shoes. We habitualize our thoughts. We don't even think about pulling into the driveway sometimes. So you're hitting this part of the brain called the default mode network, where then you're just like getting these deeply rutted neural pathways. Your synapses of the brain are just like, this is what we do over and over. Mm-hmm. So the psychedelic assisted therapy, after like one dose, if you look at it under a microscope, the little synapses of the brain are like, woo, it's wild. So they're like reaching out saying, okay, I gotta do a puzzle to continue or it's gonna shut us down. That means we've been going an hour. Come on, puzzle. Yeah.
No way we've been going an hour.
Yeah, yes way. So wow. with that though, it's wild, because then what happens is then, that's why they talk about like expanding your mind is expanding the little synapses of the brain. But this is where the concepts of things like set and setting and expectation effect come into play. So it's like if you want to meet your long lost ancestors, you will. If you are scared about doing it, then right? Have you had that experience ever? Where I
had a complete ego death. Like the first time I ever did it, I completely forgot who I was. Like I literally did not know who Sydney was or what Sydney was or anything. It was like kind of terrifying, but no, it was like amazing, because then I just realized that like all of this is literally like not as serious as we make it. And like everything, like every day is just like a game, kind of, like we're just playing our little Sims game, and like nothing like matters as much as I thought it did. And so it really helped with my anxiety. I would say.
I mean, that's what the theory.
Oh, and that helped me with like remember when that we had a question last week or whatever. Someone was saying that they really struggle with like the feeling of like death or like the impending.
Yes.
That really helped me with that, because that's like what just kind of gave me the peace of like, oh, this isn't all that's here. Like there's more after this, and it's honestly probably going to be like way more comfortable than this.
Like you felt a connection. Like it's where people start talking about feeling a connection with the universe, the
like,
nature, the earth,
Exactly. Yeah. It was really cool.
Let's do a live where we're going to talk about that. And because we've never really talked again about you being there with my ketamine journey, which was amazing for me.
Yes.
Because that'd be fun, because that's like that part, and especially like microdosing is, I mean, there's a belief that at some point it'll maybe even be what's part of like a multivitamin because of the benefits.
Oh, I could so see that.
Yeah.
I could so see that.
But this isn't me saying, hey kids, go out and try random psychedelics.
Absolutely not. I've also had like the worst experiences on them. Like if you have to be so safe with it. Like obviously.
And that's I think why then I've been the guy waiting for the FDA approval for everything. Cardboard Box says that you are very smart.
Thanks, Cardboard Box.
Yeah. But then they said haha though, so maybe they're just kidding.
That's probably.
Or no,
more accurate.
Oh no, I think they like you. There's a heart in the thing. Okay, and Steve I wonder if that's what he's saying. You guys are awesome. I love your relationship so much. I really appreciate that. Thanks, for real. Steve. I missed these during the move and stuff.
Oh, I didn't.
Okay. Rejection sensitivity. All right. I'm done. Okay.
That was good.
Okay, Adam Van, what a good way to connect with people. I don't know how to approach people. I've been anxious forever. Okay, that's a great question.
People aren't real. Just kidding.
Okay, what is a good way?
But like pretty much. Like, just like, you know, like everything, like all of our overthinkingness is fake. Like, and I feel like this is a good place maybe to mention with like what you were talking about before, like, because I still am like this a lot where I'll be like, oh, what am I going to say? What am I going to say? But it's like having the acceptance that, oh, you're probably going to say something stupid,
yes,
and that's
like
fine.
Yes.
And you're probably going to say something dumb at some point. That's fine. They are too. Like, you know? And it's like what we're forgetting about, because I feel like that's where anxiety is bad, right? Because it only prepares us for the bad things.
Yeah.
It forgets to prepare us for any of the good things.
It really does.
And like the reality is like, if you could just like reverse your anxiety and like it would make you be excited for all the happy things that are going to be happening, you'd be jumping on top of people in public. Not literally, that sounded weird, but do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. And what I like that you're saying there is that would be that acceptance that, oh yeah, totally. Like somebody said, man, that sounded silly. And I'm like, I know, right? I mean, it just came out of my mouth, but check that out. Like, that's crazy.
Like, life is silly. Everything's silly. Nothing. It's just, don't be so like afraid to be embarrassing, because it's gonna happen to everyone.
Yeah, right? Yeah. Dreamgirl7, virtual couch therapist for those who've had past psychosis, the psychedelic therapy safe. I do not know. So that's where I will 100% own this is out of my depth chart. Yeah, so it has to be a psychiatrist that prescribes the psychedelic therapy. And so somebody like in my position, I've teamed up with people they've gone to the psychiatrist for the psychedelic assisted therapy, but then I've helped them process the trip that they've had. But I'm glad you're asking the question, and that's where there's so much information out there now on psychedelic assisted therapy, that do your research. Because when I was talking about expectation effect, it's, you know, if somebody's just saying, I am so anxious and I'm so tired of this anxiety that I'm willing to try anything, that's really, in my opinion, not the best way to go about it, because you're going into it like anxious, saying I don't know if this is going to work. But
how could you not go into it anxious?
So, well, I think for me personally, I read this book by Michael Pollan, How to Change Your Mind. You know, I watched the documentary series on Netflix. It's like you're going in informed of knowing, like, and for me, this is like, if anybody old is still listening right now, if one thing Schoolhouse Rocky taught me is that knowledge is power. Do you have any idea what that means?
I remember Schoolhouse Rock.
Are you serious? Okay.
There's a still image of it in my brain right now, and I could tell you nothing else about it.
That's okay. I'm very impressed. I'm just a Bill. Yes, I'm only a Bill. Do you know that one?
Nope. Schoolhouse Rock.
I don't think that was
the theme song?
No. No, it was not.
They must have changed it from my generation.
Look at the size of my head compared to yours.
They're like, oh yeah, no. Well, no, honestly, I'm coming out here with this forehead today, though. I'm brave.
Okay,
you could land
I've got like a 6 head then, if you got a 4 head.
That's not true, because you have a whole head, so it doesn't count.
Fair enough.
You have 1 head.
Okay, connect with people. Did we answer that? Oh, you were answering it. Literally, you were answering it. Is it so a way to connect people, how to approach people? I will say, though, I work with somebody's coming in and they're specifically working on their social anxiety, and what Sid said is where I want to start. Accepting the fact that I have social anxiety, because there's nothing wrong with you. It's just how you're showing up based on all of your nature, nurture, and birth order, and DNA and abandonment, rejection, and hopes and fears, the things you saw modeled, the kids you grew up with at school. You know, there's so much that goes into then why we feel the way we do. But if you're aware of that, I've just been anxious about it, you're already on a good path. So then so I'm accepting I have social anxiety. And then what Sid said, ideally we're trying to work to the point of where, hey, you're not doing anything wrong, you're just trying to communicate. But I think being, sometimes, tell me if you think this is cheesy, I think somebody going in and almost being more like having an interviewer mentality. So then I'm asking somebody questions, because people really like to talk about themselves.
Dude, this changed my whole life.
Did it? Okay.
Like, realizing that, like, if you want to have a good if you want to have, like...
A conversation
with someone.
Yeah, a connection.
Literally just ask them questions about themselves. Like, people eat that up. And that, like, saved me, because I would have moments of, like social... I would be, like, really socially anxious in a conversation.
Yeah.
Literally ask them anything about themselves. Then you don't have to talk. You get a nice break.
It is interesting, though. Do you notice, though, and I think and I like that you're bringing that up, because I think it's a great place for this person to start interacting with people. But then I do think, though, that, okay, this is really interesting. So I'm impressing myself with my questions, Sid. Would you like to know them? What's going on in the inside of my brain?
Enlighten me.
I was thinking about, well, sometimes people they get back out in the dating world, they've gone through a divorce or something, and one of the first red flags that we talk about is, did they ask you any questions about yourself?
Oh my gosh, no, they didn't.
No, they didn't. And so often that's the comment. But what is really funny is that you'll have people that will. I just read a question, so I got derailed. But I want to finish this thought. But then you also have people that they were in relationships where they were never seen, they were never heard, and so then they're like, no, I just want somebody to be curious about me, and then they go on a date, and then somebody's just hammering with questions, and they're like, I don't know, because I've never been asked questions before, and I don't want to get it wrong, you know. Mm-hmm. So that can be, yeah. I was trying to read your face because you're looking at me. It was either like I really get this old man, or it was like, he's saying words.
Probably the second one.
Okay.
What are you saying, that you're not supposed to ask questions?
No, you are, but this is part of that thing where actually it's one of the questions down here is about anxious attachment. Advice for somebody who is preoccupied, anxious attachment style. Anxious attachment is really interesting because it's like I need somebody else to tell me that we're okay. And then they might tell me they're okay, but if I don't feel okay, then I'm like, I don't know if they're being honest. Are you sure? You know, and so yeah.
This isn't about that.
Oh,
but
that's okay.
to the question before, I had a thought.
Okay.
Something that helps me is just being like, because I used to always be so scared, like, this is what will happen to me, okay? I'll be having a conversation with somebody that I don't know, and then we'll be going back and forth, and then my brain will go completely blank, like not a thought in the world. And like this will happen every once in a while, and then that's like what my constant fear is, like when I'm going into conversations.
Yes.
Now, like, when that happens, I just, like, say it out. I'm just like, oh my gosh, my brain just went, I have no idea what you just said. Like, I'm so anxious. And
do they run
fine.
Screaming away?
Only one time.
And then, okay, what do you think about that person? You're kidding?
Happen.
Okay, but
it never happened. That doesn't happen.
But that's so good what you're saying, though, because that is an acceptance that I'm going to do that. So then I'm going to go into the conversation, and I tell.
It diffuses it too.
Yeah, right. And then and it humanizes the experience. And I tell clients when I'm working with them, I say one of the best things you can do, and I think this is why I enjoy when we're going back and forth, is that I say one of the best things you can do is have the courage. In essence, I want to be the safe person that you can tell me, I have no idea what you're talking about. I tuned out, and I mean, it happens every day because that's part of the human experience. Yeah. But then we're afraid to say that. Right?
Yeah. I always get scared people are like going to be offended too, that it's like I wasn't listening to them.
Yeah.
And I wasn't listening to you, but it wasn't my choice.
But having the courage to say that, and I'll just jump on here real quick where Sonia says, or when people think you're listening, but it's your turn to talk and you have no clue what the topic is.
Oh my gosh, I hate that. And the silence is just getting longer and longer, and you're like, oh my gosh.
So I feel like that's been in my own, therapist journey of being authentic or whatever, is I think in the past I used to try to get out of that, but like, if I don't know what they're saying, I would say, hey, go back about 30 seconds, that thing you said, because I'm still kind of thinking about that, and that was my immature way to say, I have no idea what you're talking about. But now I feel like, okay, I have to model what I'm hoping that they'll do.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
This is funny. If Allie's still in here, her child literally, okay, I'm talking nice about her children now.
I hope she's here.
Her child actually really helped me a lot with this concept because she has a little boy.
Wait, time code 8:48. Okay, we're cutting this clip. This is going to go viral. Go.
She has a little boy, Given.
Yeah.
And we were talking to him about Disneyland. And he was like just telling us all about his day. And he did that thing. He completely forgot about what he was talking about. And he just looks like me dead in the eyes and goes, I have no idea what you just said. Oh. And like and then he just kept going. I was like, oh my gosh, I need to take like the examples of a pooping dumb little kid. He wasn't dumb. Okay. Well, he was dumb, but for Allie's case, like, we love him. But yeah, it's like, I need to take advice from a little kid, because like, he didn't care. He didn't have anxiety, obviously.
No,
but
he didn't. I mean, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
Let's run through, because I want to, if you're okay, we'll wrap it up at an hour and a half. Is that okay? So we got like 10 minutes. So, Dream Girl 7, for CPTSD, are there other therapies you recommend if I can't do psychedelic? And yeah, there's if you really start looking into, there's all kinds of different trauma-related therapies, things like brain spotting, brain mapping. There's one called accelerated resolution therapy, EMDR, and all of them are starting to just kind of do things that are more, that are... I really feel like the trauma therapies are trying to just make sure that you are doing something about the trauma and not just letting it, just ruminating and worrying about it. And I think we've talked about EMDR before, and it's the thing that is doing left, right stimulation, these little pulsating things in
I've
your hands.
heard people say that that's worked for them.
So I do it.
For yourself?
But no, I like have they're called TheraTappers, and
I feel like we did it one time.
We did, yeah. So
I didn't really get it.
So, well, the science of it is cool because it's like why talk therapy works in essence is because people are expressing scary things to somebody and that person's saying, man, tell me more, what happened? Not, are you serious? So you think that's a problem? You should hear my stories. That's right? Yeah. Or like, oh gosh, is that what you did right there? I wouldn't have done that. Instead, so that's why over time then as you express scary things, then they aren't as scary and then you realize you're okay, And then EMDR or brain spotting, brain mapping, all of them are doing this. I mean, not really brain spotting, brain mapping, but they're all doing really cool things. Like EMDR is taking this concept of when you're little and you're walking around and you're moving up and going forward, your eyes are scanning left, right for safety. You don't want to trip over the dog or something. So eventually your brain is kind of smart and it says, so if the eyes are moving left and right, we must be safe. We don't even have to be up and moving around. And then a couple people, Francine Shapiro and somebody else a long time ago said, okay, then I hypothesize that then if we can just get you to look left and right, then you're going to reduce or release this chemical in your brain that suppresses the stress hormone. And so then you can talk about scary things in therapy really quick and feel super cool about it.
Wow, it really works too.
I mean, I've had good success with it. When I work with people.
I mean, it makes sense. Like, it makes sense when you say it.
Yeah. Let's see. Okay, Jay, I was extremely cynical about EMDR at first, and it didn't work at all for a long time. But I've seen it work wonders in people that have a lot more than I do. I like that you're saying that, Jay, because as a clinician that's done some of it, I haven't done a lot of it. I was hesitant because I was like worried, what if it doesn't work? And I do have some deeper thoughts about it. Not like saying I think I've got things figured out, but I really think that the concept of that you are doing something is better than not, because when we're ruminating and worrying about trauma, then it just continues to become
moldy.
Yeah, moldy. I like that.
Does it? Like, does it probably, right? Like, it gets worse over time.
Okay, do you know what it made me think of?
What?
Do you remember these little Hostess cupcakes that were little 3 that came in a package? Do you remember those?
Did you? You're like this? Pulling a like suppressed memory out of my head.
Okay, so there was one time and I wasn't looking, and I was talking and I opened them and we were all like in the kitchen and I just like pop them in my mouth. I'm like, I don't remember these being very fuzzy before.
Could you taste it?
Oh yeah.
Oh.
And they were so moldy. It was crazy.
I don't think I've seen you with one of those since.
Never have. I was traumatized. I need to do some EMDR so I can eat those cupcakes.
Wow. Full circle.
Full circle. Okay, thank you. I like it. Okay. Mark, 9, best daughter and dad in the world. That makes me like really happy. That really does. Sonia Connolly, can you explain what polyvagal theory is? We keep these lists of questions, and we don't quite have time to do that.
No way you know what that is. What is that?
Okay, are you gonna make me? Don't put me on the spot.
Maybe we'll look at that next time.
We're starting to talk about because we're talking about like polyvagal, the vagus nerve. We're talking about somatic responses. We're talking about like really listening and in tune with your body. And so it's like there's like somatic breathing and exercise. So it's like a form of trauma and healing. I mean, that would be good. But the reason is that I don't practice it, and I just had a client of mine go to a conference and it was interesting because I found myself feeling immature about it.
I've never heard that word in my life.
Yeah. I've got a video bookmark that's talking about like ways to really, relax using the vagus nerve.
Oh, I've heard that too. I've heard that as a way to like lower your heart rate. Yeah. And that's what this says. It says.
Okay, wait. So I was kind of right.
No, you weren't right.
Yes, I was.
No, you weren't.
Yes, I was.
Polyvagal theory is a collection of proposed evolutionary neuroscientific and psychological constructs pertaining to the role of the vagus.
Oh, the vagus nerve, the thing that I said.
In emotion.
Interesting.
In emotion regulation, social connection, and fear response. The theory is.
So it's like it's kind of almost getting out of your mind and kind of they say getting into your body and to like heal trauma. Yeah, I'm waiting for the apology.
No. What?
I was right.
You were not even right. You were barely right. You were
okay.
Like 4% right.
Look what I did there. I just said, hey, I don't know enough about it. Oh, Sydney. Okay. Let's do this one. Beck's Garage. This is a great question. How can you get over a mental block stopping you from doing things? It holds me back on the track. So, you have thoughts first? I have big thoughts on this one.
I feel like this is totally like I'm not saying she has ADHD, but I feel like I can relate to this.
Mental
with
block?
ADHD.
Okay.
Like just feeling like paralyzed.
Yeah.
And you know exactly what you want to do, but you can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. What would you do in that scenario?
that's hard for me to like just be able to say, you know.
Yeah, but I like that you brought that. I wasn't even thinking of that angle, and I got an answer for that one. All right, theory on that one too. So let's do that one first. So if it's an ADHD thing, have you heard of body doubling?
Like a stuntman?
Exactly. Stuntmen and ADHD really help. No, I'm just kidding.
Hannah's here.
Okay. Hey, Hannah.
Here.
She is a big fan.
You.
Okay, so but body doubling in the world of ADHD is I just need somebody there with me, and I'll do it. And I remember when I was writing my book, I was like, oh, if I ever get a book, I'll turn it in on time and all that stuff, and I didn't. And then I would just need to go in the same room as your mom, and I would just be like, hey, I just need to sit here, and then I'm going to do it.
This is the only thing that got me to the DMV. You remember?
Yeah.
I literally had to have my friends sleep over and like drive me there, and I don't know why. Like I don't know.
No, I think it's just like an acceptance, and I remember this. Here's where I'm looking at the camera and saying, Wendy, your mom, my wife. The part that I appreciate, your mom. But I used to say this. I used to be like, "Hey, can you come to my office with me? Because I just want to like clean my office." But then it was like, she's like, "What do you want me to do there?" And I'm like, "Ooh, nothing really, just like to be there." but she is really good at you know, tasks and organization and stuff. But then I would feel that rejection of like, "Oh, I don't want her to like see all my piles of things." So that was before I really understood this concept. And it's almost like, oh, if you can just come sit on the couch and like, you know, if you need to do something on your laptop, then I'll do things. And so it's a really fascinating part of ADHD. Yeah.
That works for me sometimes, but then sometimes when I do that, then I find myself like I'll accidentally turn on like my little people pleaser switch, and then like I won't do any work. And I'm like, what do you need? Do you need like any water? Do you want to like, you know what I mean? And like the whole time I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a person right there. I need to be entertaining them. It's like there is that aspect.
Yeah.
What's so funny, Tony?
Okay.
My trauma?
No. Bottles of water, Sid. Tell me how many bottles of water you go through a day.
Oh.
I just want to know the theory. Like,
what are you insinuating?
So like if I walk out,
our fridge water is weird.
Okay, but if I walk out,
our fridge water is fizzy, you guys. Has bubbles in it.
But do if I take one drink of that bottle of water, is that one done?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I don't understand why I'm being exposed right now or what this has to do with
no, it's probably not even you. It's probably Mackie, right?
Yeah, it was Mackie.
Yeah. Okay, can you ask her, and I'm asking you now, what lip liner you use, please? It looks so good.
I'm going to go get it.
Okay.
This is important because it changed my life.
Is it the one we ordered?
Uh-huh, and I'm pretty sure it was already viral on TikTok, but
okay.
I'm getting it anyway.
So, Sydney is, it says she does entertain well ice cold water. You guys got sparkling water coming out of your fridge. That would be awesome. And actually, Sydney would disagree, but it actually is pretty good water now. We put a little filter on there, but she refuses to do that. Okay, let me see if there's any other questions while Sid went to get her lip liner. Let's see. What kind of tests do they do to find out if you have ADHD? So there are a lot of people that are starting to maybe abuse the ADHD medications. So it used to be you would go to your general practitioner and they had, I know the first time I ever saw an ADHD test, it was maybe 10 questions. But now you're probably going to have to see a psychiatrist or a clinical psychologist, and they have a couple of different tests. The one I ended up taking was a couple of 100 questions, and it just talked a lot about things about impulsivity. Do you have a hard time sitting still? Do you often start tasks and not finish them? Do you have a hard time taking turns? Are you fidgety? Do you pick at things? But I would recommend just go look. You can, for real, Google online ADHD test, and it'll just give you an idea. You'll kind of know what you're looking at. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, taking us home, 8:58.
This
lip liner
stuff. Okay, what is it called?
Do you want me to put it up close? Oh wait.
Oh, you can't even see it. Okay.
I know. What? Yeah.
Sachiu.
Okay,
it's SACHEU. Okay, and it's a lip stain. Ooh, look at that.
Wait,
Tony's a
down?
beauty influencer.
I'm a hands model. Okay. Wait, what did you call me?
Okay, James. No. Okay.
Okay.
We don't like him.
Okay.
It's a lip stain.
Oh wait, we can put Taylor Mullen in right now. It'd be fun, right?
Hey, Queen.
Hey, Taylor.
It's a lip stain, so you just like...
Wait, okay. Mackie just said it. Sachu lip stain ordered from Amazon.
You just use it like, or at least I use it just around the outside. So like it's a lip stain for your whole lips, but I just line my lips with it.
Did you say stain?
Yeah.
So like is that just a...
Yeah. That's what it's called.
I'll sip this one out.
And it lasts like all day almost, and nothing else does. And then, oh, and then I also use this one. It's NYX. I don't think it works that well. I use 2 NYX ones. They're like fine, but they like go away immediately. And then I also got this, you guys. It's the e.l.f. Pout Clout thingy, and I put this on top. And this also is just in the scandal on TikTok.
What was the scandal?
This one lady tried it, and she like completely crapped on it. But she used it completely wrong. Like, she like, pumped it up, like, 14 times and then, like, put 4 layers on her lips and was like, it's sticky. Like, no duh.
Scandalous.
But, no, this stuff is really good, too.
Okay. I dig that, though. And look, somebody said, she's so easy as 312 ACB. That's funny right there. She's so funny. I'm excited to be enlightened by this life-changing lip liner. It changed your life.
No, yeah. Oh, my gosh, Hannah showed it to me. Hannah, take all the credit.
Oh, Hannah, turning into a beauty channel.
I can't even pretend.
Okay. Do you want to hear, like, my nose hair trimmer? Like, how I use that?
Ew, you have a nose hair trimmer?
I'm 54. Like, I have to do that. My ears, my nose.
Disgusting.
Okay, thanks, everybody. What a wonderful time. It's great to be back. When are we going again next time?
I don't know, but we'll put it up.
Yes, we will.
I don't know. When should we? This
weekend?
In
a couple hours?
No. I have to do something on Saturday, but I could do it on Sunday.
Sunday's fun. Sunday fun day. We'll be coming back at you live, right? And I will get that apology that I knew about Polyvagal Theory. Look at this question.
Look at that one. Remember what it was called.
Look at that one. That's kind of funny.
Did you say, do you have a hard time taking turds?
Don't know what that refers to.
I actually have a really easy time taking turds. All right. I'm gonna go take one right now. See you guys later.
Okay. Hug?
No, why do you keep trying to hug?
Because you're my daughter. All right, Taylor, see you guys Sunday. Oh, Taylor's gonna be here. Oh, we'll bring her on the live.
Oh, my friend's gonna be here too.
Really? Let's do group live.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Here we go. Thanks, everybody.
Everyone gets to sit in the closet. Bye.
Bye, everybody. Here we go. Next 5 minutes, turning it off.
Oh, someone said he's such a sweet dad.
Oh, that's nice. I like that person. Okay. Oh, cardboard box. I'm a big fan tonight. Okay.
Cardboard
Wait.
box.
What's Hannah saying? I want to go. I want Hannah to come on with us. That'd be fun, right?
Yes, I want Hannah to come.
Okay, good night, everybody. Take it easy.
Guys.
Oh, that was it. And